You know why I'm in this Scroogey mood? Let me explain it to you. Earlier today, I was on the telephone with a company called Netflix. Netflix. You know, they send these little discs that have motion pictures on them and other things through the mail. You know what it is. Yes, they advertise on radio and on television. You know, you've heard the advertisements. Some of you probably even belong to them. Well, I want to give you a little example of their customer relations. You see, in February of this year, which, well, it takes you back to the beginning of the year, right? January, February. It's a second month, right? I bought my daughter a gift subscription to Netflix at the university where she was studying. And it was $233.63 was the subscription. But my daughter, earlier on this year in February, she called me and said, "Daddy, I can't get them. It's not going to work. I don't have a credit card." So you know what we did? We gave her a bank card, a debit card. We did this because Netflix said they wouldn't allow the benefactor of my subscription. I mean, they took my $233 on my Visa card. They took that $233. Yes, they did. But they wouldn't follow through with the subscription because the individual who was receiving it had to have a credit card or a debit card in order to. Now, they didn't tell me this when I bought the subscription, you understand. This is something I found out from my daughter. Well, at any rate, we got her the card, and she started her subscription last February. Well, it seems somewhere round about the end of August or September, my daughter lost her card. That's right, she lost her debit card. Now, what did we do? We did what anybody who loses a card does. We reported the loss, and we replaced it. You get the picture? What does this have to do with Netflix? Well, Netflix, you see, I guess in that period where the card was changed, my daughter failed to tell them, since my daughter was not paying, right, for the subscription. It had already been paid for. Netflix had the money in their hands. She failed to inform them that her debit card had changed. But these skanky individuals at Netflix, they canceled the subscription. Yes, they did. They canceled the subscription. And when my daughter inquired, they said, "Well, you see, we query your account each month for $1. And if we don't get the response that we want from the debit card company, then we cancel the subscription. But we can start it up again." "Oh, yes, we can. We can do it." So my daughter reinitiated what she thought was the gift subscription. After all, I had paid for an entire year, right? The only thing is, you see, Netflix began to charge her the monthly fee. Yes, they did. They started charging her the monthly fee. But my daughter, being quite young and being not one who checks her bills, didn't notice that this $18 and some cents charge was adding up on her debit card. Well, it's just 3 months, almost $60. And she's come home for the holidays, and I decided that I would call Netflix and try to clear this up and ask them why they were charging my daughter for a subscription that had already been paid for. Well, at first, the gentleman whose name was James, who I talked to, at first he said, well, the subscription had run out. I said, "Oh, no, James, excuse me. It was a 1-year subscription for $233.63. And it begins February of 2006. It ends in February of 2007, James. Do you have it before you?" Well, you see, this is what's happened here. We query the account for $1, and if it doesn't come back, we cancel the subscription. "Yes, but James, you had been paid for the subscription for 1 year." And "Yes, but this is our procedure, sir." I said, "Yes, But you're not understanding me. I had paid for 1 year. You then, in order to reinstate the account, started to charge my daughter when the account had already been paid for. He then said, well, I'll tell you what, we'll give you 2 months back. I said, no, James, I don't want 2 months back. I want all 3 months' charges. I want that $56 credited back to her debit card because you already have it. He then called me a name under his breath. The first part of the name is Dip, and the second part is a scatological reference, 4-letter word that rhymes with hit. What the hell was that? I then became furious with him on the phone, and he told me that within 7 to 10 days I would have my refund, and I told him I better. I then hung up and wrote an email in which I told them precisely what I told James, and I said I found it very strange that your service personnel would try to bargain with me or money that was mine. In other words, you double billed 3 bills totaling $56 you should not have because you already had a full year subscription paid for. I wanted the money back. There was no bargaining to be done. You owed me the money. And I said I did not think that the customer relations were being taken care of in the proper way when I was called a dip, you know what. I have yet to hear from them, although they said they would get back to me promptly.